The Mysterious Forest of Dong Phaya Fai, Part 1 by by.Ters Kangkhoi, all rights reserved under the Copyright Act. In the UK, Part 1 go back many decades ago. In a village in Thailand, late one day the sound of a jeep passing through a dirt road came into my village, which has come to park in front of a small shop in the village while I was waiting to buy grilled chicken. A man's voice, if I'm not mistaken, still wearing a student uniform, black pants and white shirt. The man got out of the car and asked the people in the shop, "Do aunts know the old man's house?" The man asked, "Knowing, go straight and turn right. You will see a large wooden house and a buffalo under the basement." "Thank you," said the man, along with walking into the car heading in the direction that Aunt Juan has told me. After the car has passed, the voices of the people in the shop were talking all over the place. I think there must be some work. The students from the city came to see the elders. One man spoke. Another spoke immediately. "I heard an old man say college will be built but don't know where to build and what college. Probably true. They should have come to investigate." "I think so," another man spoke up. "During the conversation and drinking at the shop as well. After I heard the villagers talk like that, the grilled chicken that I was waiting to buy, I didn't wait." With curiosity like children, so he followed him to the elder's house. "Because I want to know the whole story that students come here." When I arrived at the elder's house, saw three men sitting in front of the house talking with the elders. "Let's drink water first." "Young man, what business do you have?" an adult asked the three men. "The adults have received a letter from the university, right?" a man spoke up. "Oh, who do you think we're from?" The elder replied, "That's what I wrote in that letter, adults. The three of us will explore the forest here first, before building a college that will affect the forest and animals." "How much, adults?" "Well, I haven't prepared much for this." An adult responds, "So what day will the three of us start exploring?" "I'll take you to the adult," said Nation as one of the survey team. "So tell the elders to leave tomorrow." "Adults, we also have to go into the forest overnight, because I want to see wildlife. Heard that this line wild animals are abundant." "Is it good, young man?" an adult said. "Exploring only during the day is enough." An adult speaks forbiddenly. "Not at all," Chat replied. "My teacher wants to know everything. Day and night, the approximate number of wild animals of all kinds, various boundaries. The teacher will take all the details to make a decision whether to build a good college, including looking at the effects as well." Chat explained to the elders. "So how many days and nights are you going to go into the forest to explore?" an adult asked. 2 nights for adults. We have already prepared various supplies." The Nation responded to adults as they wanted to fully explore. "Let's just say you guys stay at my house tonight. I'll go find someone this evening to lead you to explore." Adults say, "Oh!" The Nation exclaimed. "Aren't you an adult to take us along?" "No," an adult and the elders continued to say. "Those of you who only live in the city know only the beauty of the forest. But you don't know how dangerous it is in the forest you're going to enter. I don't want you guys to go in alone in the middle of the day. I was able to bring it in. But here you guys still want to stay overnight in the forest. I'm really worried. If possible, don't go in. But if you still want to enter, I will also find a good hand for you." Adults say the nation then told the elders to come back. What's a good hand, an adult? There will be a lot besides wild animals. If you're a villain, we'll shoot the prunes. We all have guns. But if the adults will find someone to follow us along, it's good too. So I can help them carry some stuff. Bring a lot. As for the compensation, how about it? It's the adults. I pay unlimited. Just let him go into the forest to explore and send the teacher." The nation replied to the adults back. "Let's do this. You guys stay overnight at my house first because it's almost evening now. Take a shower and take a shower first. I'll prepare for tomorrow so I can leave early." Adults explained to the nation and their friends, "You'll be fine. I'd like to leave to run some errands for you guys. Which you have seen me since I secretly sat and listened near from the beginning, but you still haven't said anything to me, guest." "That's my name. Elder. Are you and your grandfather at home?" "I don't know either. I replied to you." "Yes, how do you know?" "Come and sit and listen to me talk about business for half a day, you complain. You will take me to your grandfather's house." "If I have some business to talk to your grandfather." An adult came over. I shouted to grandfather. "Well, stay in the house and leave soon." My grandfather yelled out. Then my grandfather came out to the front of the house. My grandfather had reached a very old age. "But you are still strong, and some young people are incomparable to you. That's because you live like a villager, nature, exercise every day, especially out in the forest. Make him see not very old and still strong." "Oh, do the adults have any business?" My grandfather greeted the elders. "I have some business to swim. Are you free for a few days? Where are you going?" "I'm not going anywhere," my grandfather said. "What's the matter, elder?" My grandfather asked. "I'll ask you to bring a group of people in." The elder replied, "Why would they go in? Students from the city. It will go into the forest. To build a college. Can you take them?" The adult asks, "Where will you take them?" My grandfather asked about the destination. "Go to the Fu-Champa mountain range." End of adult voice. My grandfather exclaimed. "What? Adults? Adults don't know that the mountain range is dangerous. Almost no one wants to enter. Will the adults still let me take them? Have you thought about it or not, adults?" My grandfather protested the elders back. I told them but they would still go in and make a report for their master. If you're hungry, eat first. And then go after I claw to find Grandpa too. Grandfather had to talk to the mechanic. The sound that grandfather said, "I don't eat rice," follow the trick as grandfather ordered. Along the way, I realized why the adults wanted this group of people to go into such a dangerous forest. Even though you know how mysterious this forest is, that's because of money only. Because I saw a person with a national name handing an adult a brown envelope, the size of which was enough to hold a stack of banknotes. I guess it's not difficult for that group of people to bribe adults. In exchange for entering the forest this time, at first, the adults were forbidden, but after receiving the money envelope, back to each other. I can bet on this, that this group of people could definitely enter this mystical forest, and the elders did not go back and dissuade them. Only promote facility to enter. Money can really buy everything. When I was a kid I really thought so. When I arrived in front of the house, I called Eichel to meet my grandfather at home. It doesn't say anything, just tell me that I'll follow. Then I walked back to my grandfather's house. The first goal is to find rice and fish for Grandpa to eat first. Then ask Grandpa to follow him into the forest. With curiosity, cross over to the other side of the elder's house. In front of the house, lanterns and bonfires began to ignite. The three men, after sitting in the car and chatting with adults most of the day, began to sit and drink without the adults coming back, but he didn't know where the elder had gone. Three men with liquor outside. The dry appetizers bought from the city began to be cupped. The expensive red wine began to be poured with soda. Enough ice that you can buy at any general store. The three men started chatting frantically, ready to drink as a teenager, but the conversation was not very loud. As if I didn't want anyone to come in and hear it. Hey chat. Do you think we'll be able to go into the forest? Ek, one of the survey team, asked. I have already entered. I put money on adults like that. I didn't go in. I'm already crazy. Who doesn't want money? The nation replied confidently, the basis of that nation. He is the son of a wealthy family who has the status of a small matter of money. How much does the nation want to use? His father would come immediately. I just want my child to finish school. But on the other hand, Chat acted in the opposite direction as his father had hoped. Like the back of the hand. Not good at studying, misbehaving, addicted to gambling, all kinds of bad behaviors. But getting into and still being at this university is because of his father's money line. And who came to explore the forest this time because the professors at the university were completely disgusted with the nation and his friends. Generally speaking, that is the surplus of the university. The teacher at the faculty has sent him to explore in the distance. Hope to have some peace and quiet, which is in the way of the nation and those who don't want to study. Moreover, in the minds of the nation and friends, there are evil plans hidden in their heads that no one knows. I definitely went in there prepared. In the morning, they will leave for the forest early in the morning. But now I'm in a foreign country, I can't sleep well. Let's drink before let's go to bed. While the nation and friends sit and drink alcohol and chatting happily, the elder came back home. The voice of the conversation that was hidden by a vicious intrigue became quieter. Adult nations, come be quiet before us. Then the nation greeted the elders. Where did the adults go? I've been waiting for a long time until the liquor runs out. Let's sit together before adults. But do adults drink alcohol? Wherever I have come, sit and eat with me first. I brought a lot of liquor today, don't worry. Anyway, Chai, one of the three who came to explore, hurriedly brought a glass to the elders. It has not been answered whether the adults drink alcohol or not. Then an adult spoke up. I really understand old people, young man. Thank you very much. Don't be considerate of the elders. I have a lot, but whether the adults have dealt with me properly. The nation asks out, "All right, young man." But there was one thing he left to tell. What about adults instead of the adults forbidding this group from going into the forest? But with the sake of money, so he lied, those who will take us into the forest, it asks for double the wages. And leave me to them. He spoke with a blank expression on his face. Nation also smiled and laughed. It's okay, adults, no problem. We need adults already. Let the adults take it to him. And said that we want to go to the forest early in the morning, so get ready to take us along. Then the adults sat and chatted with all the students. Into grandfather's house. With barking sound which is not it's an adult. "Hello adults," the trick spoke up. Have you come? Did you know that you have work tomorrow?" An adult asks it out. "I know adults," the bastard replied. "Well, that's it. I'm going to stop them. But they will still want to enter." The grown-ups lied with an innocent look on their faces. "Even though they didn't forbid the students at all, let's prepare early tomorrow so that we can travel. Here's the money," he deposited first. "In case to go buy things to prepare for departure." An adult handed some money to my grandfather, which the adults have already embezzled half for the sake of money, which the amount of money is quite large for the forest people of the Dong like my grandfather and Eichel. So my grandfather asked the elders again. "I'm sure they really want to go into the forest to explore." The elder replied, "I forbid them and they don't listen. I think they're helping the government. They're working. Don't think too much. Take it and come out and it's over." The elder said, "Oh, if so, okay, but can I ask another adult?" My grandfather told me what's coming. "Don't worry," the elder replied, "that is, before going to the forest tomorrow. The elders help me prepare the forest picking ceremony for me. I think it's good to do it. Didn't lose anything. Adults must know what to prepare." My grandfather asked the elders to go, or, "I know and I will prepare for them. Schedule it like this: at 6 o'clock in the morning. The ceremony of clearing the forest, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Is it okay?" An adult makes an appointment. So my grandfather accepted it. After the discussion about the work was completed, the elders then excused themselves to go home to make an appointment with a group of students and prepare the forest picking ceremony in the morning. After the adults and the trick go home, who's home already? Grandfather went to take a shower to prepare for bed. I saw that, so I went to give Grandpa a massage, which my grandfather asked me directly. "Want to go into the forest with Grandpa? You don't have to appease Grandpa." Grandfather asked me. "Yes, Grandfather, I would like to go help. In case there's anything I can help you with," I replied to you. "What did you do to help Grandpa?" Grandfather said that he would like to go on a trip more than Grandfather said. So I smiled inwardly. Hear from the tone of Grandfather's voice. I'm definitely going with Grandpa. After that, Grandfather spoke. Grandfather is worried about you and doesn't want to go with you. There are many mysteries in that forest. You should know people in our village took their lives away. I don't know how many people per how many people. Some corpses were not found. Do you still want to go? Aren't you afraid of ghosts? Grandfather told me to frighten me. I'm not afraid, Grandfather. Where did Grandfather go? I went there. The words that touched my grandfather. I said, well, if you want to go, I'll let you go. You go and ask your mom and dad before you go with Grandpa. If he let you go, I have the food ready. Tomorrow at 5 a.m., you can come to Grandpa's house." Grandfather said, "Even though you already know that my parents won't let me go into this mountain range." But that's not it. The new morning has arrived. I got up and prepared as much stuff as I could at 4 in the morning to prepare to go into the forest with my grandfather. My mother got up early in the morning to cook fish and rice. "You get up and see me," so he greeted me out. "Why did you wake up so early today? What are you doing?" "I lied to you. I'm going to go find mushrooms with Grandpa. Grandfather told me to come see you since 5 a.m. Tell Dad I'm going with Grandpa." "I'm going. Grandpa will be waiting." End of the voice that I told my mother. I hurriedly walked out of the house. The reason for that is because if my father wakes up, you caught me for sure that I was lying. A short walk came to my grandfather's house. The sound of the rooster crowing in the morning with today's natural weather, it's really bright and beautiful. And today is also a good day for me to go to the forest with my grandfather. When he arrived in front of grandfather's house, what grandfather said, the first thing he said was, "Come on." Did you deceive him? To go with grandfather, which my grandfather knew very well that it was me. Parents were not allowed to enter this mountain forest anyway. But grandfather had guessed correctly that I had to run away into the forest with him. Well, I'm going to tell you, but have you told him that I'm going to go with Grandpa? Tell me, say it after that. Grandfather cut the script. He didn't say much. Not long after, the Glock came to join grandfather's house. Everyone had already prepared all the necessary belongings. Finally, grandfather told grandma that keep an eye on the house. I'll be back soon. Don't worry, Red Dog. It's gone with me. You don't have to worry, Grandpa said, but Grandpa's speech this time. It makes me depressed, like saying goodbye. I don't know which it eats into my heart, that is having fun but turns out to be depressed. But I didn't think much. Prepare yourself for more fun going into the forest. After that, Grandfather told us to come to the elder's house. When it comes to adults, the adults are still busy with the preparation of the forest clearing ceremony, which has a few villagers to help. Well, have you come? An adult greeted me. My grandfather nodded. The things that you gave to prepare the offerings. I'm all prepared. An adult speaks out, so my grandfather asked. When going to the forest in an important and long time. After the adults follow the people who will go to explore and join the ceremony. In my grandfather's way, I started the ceremony to open the forest. Pay homage to the spirits on the road. The ancestors' spirits. The forest lords in the middle of the village, where there is already a village court. After completing the ceremony, my grandfather told the students to bring something for you to see. What are the things to be prepared? Which when the three people took their stuff out of the car, my grandfather shook his head with a dissatisfied expression. Are you guys going to take all of this? Because there were many beside them. My grandfather asked the nation, then responded, take it all out here. Which now the three students have called. My grandfather was already a hunter. So my grandfather said take as needed, because you have to travel long distances. You don't have porters. You don't have to take your tents. Because you guys are not sleeping, so how are we going to sleep? Huntsman Chat asked. How about sleeping on the tree? Do you guys not know how to hike? In any dangerous forest, they don't sleep downstairs. The more you want to see wildlife too. It's good to sit in the mall upstairs. It's safe. My grandfather told the explorers to come out. Then the nations and their friends took the necessary baggage with them. And one of the essentials is not a carbine. That is very attached to everyone, both the revolver and the magazine. Before leaving, the three of them had a quiet discussion, and then took off. The path leading to the exploration point was quite far and deep in the forest on foot. It takes days to reach the central destination to be explored. My grandfather had already estimated the travel time, which, even if you rush to walk all day today, you will not reach your desired destination, so Grandpa will have to take us, including the survey team at Ban Ta Phong, which is a friend of grandfather's younger generation. Tapong himself was a loner, easy-to-eat occupation is to collect wild things to eat and sell. Ta Phong has a wife named Grandmother Pin, which Grandma Pin have been with Ta Phong for a long time, but her bad habit is that she likes to drink alcohol every day. Grandma Pin has to walk to buy liquor in the village, and it's late at night before walking home, which is not out of the eyes of the people who have to follow or come back home. Tapong is a diligent person, but there's just no way in the village, so chose to build a house and live in the forest. You all live in the forest, which I sometimes used to visit to see you because you are harmless to anyone. Later that day, after traveling for a while, grandfather told us all to stop for lunch at the big swamp, which at this point also has enough shade trees to live, and there was always a flow of water, enough to live in the heat and drink and eat. During the meal, chat also tried to ask grandfather about details in the forest, to which grandfather himself answered every question that the nation asked as he could answer. The answer that is often inescapable is, "How far is it, uncle?" until he reaches his destination, which grandfather explained to the nation that tomorrow, around 5 o'clock in the morning, we will arrive at our destination. Tonight we will stay at my junior's house in the middle of the forest, because here we walked for a while and it was already dark. It's winter here. It's getting dark quickly. Grandfather speaks to the nation after resting. We are quite tired. Therefore, we set off to Ban Ta Phong, which is my grandfather's younger friend. The path that we walked in the beginning was not very difficult, because it is an old corridor for villagers already. There will only be some areas where vetiver grass comes out on the side of the road. If you cut someone's hand, both the pain and the itch, maybe even cut and choose to leave it all. After we walked for a long time, at that time, the sun began to dim, shines orange-red against the clouds that begin to cover, indicating that the night is beginning to come.